Okay, this is it. Daytona Beach, Florida, with the Atlantic Ocean over in the horizon. Okay, guys, so we are approaching Highway A1A, which is the strip of highway that hugs the east coast of Florida. And this is, again, the southern tip of Daytona Beach, Florida. That's the Atlantic Ocean in front of us. And as we make a left, we are heading north. And so we're going to drive through the heart of downtown Daytona Beach. Now, in my opinion, being through this area over the course of the past couple years, it has gone downhill. While it may look cosmetically nice, there is a little bit of a homeless problem, drug problem, and the shops and infrastructure is a little bit wore down. That being said, you are still by the beach, so they're not going to let things go too far down because you have money invested. This is still a tourist area. So, in general speaking terms, it's a good place to visit, but I would not recommend living here. If you wanted to live in Northeast Florida, I recommend going a little bit north to Flagler Beach or the Palm Coast. Okay, I would not recommend coming to Daytona Beach to live. But as we go a little bit further down to the right, the boardwalk will begin, and there is areas that you can still drive on the beach. There's some restrictions. You do have to pay a fee, but they do still have that. That was kind of like their selling point years ago, that, you know, you can drive on the beach and park there. There's no overnight camping from my understanding. You can't do that. And they still do have Daytona Bike Week. I believe it's every year around springtime during spring break area, March or April. And all these big buildings are either condominium complexes or hotels. Because, again, this is a big tourist area because of the Daytona 500, which is a major racing event for NASCAR, similar to the Super Bowl for football. And, you know, there's bars, there's some restaurants and things, but this is not South Florida. This is not a mixed diversity. This is not like a Caribbean vibe, even though it's a very vacation-y vibe. Okay, you have some palm trees, you have the ocean, you have a warmer climate than most areas in America, but you don't have the level of diversity, lush landscaping, tropical environment, and just that energy that southern Florida brings, which is almost like the Caribbean or Latin America. So again, that being said, my overall bottom line with Daytona Beach, a good place to visit, to experience, but not to stay too long and not to live. When I drive through here, the energy is so-so. The gyms are a little bit run down. The supermarkets are not anything nice. Again, it's like they don't let the area go too far down, and it's not like it's a slum. It's not. But, you know, a lot of times I think when people think of Daytona Beach, if they've never been here, they're thinking of this magical place. And anywhere by the beach is magical. Anywhere by the beach, the townships and real estate will demand that it's upkept a little bit, because people want to live by the beach. But, you know, like I say, you know, if you walk around here, especially at night, you know, to me, it's just not that desirable. Not necessarily dangerous all the time, and it's not that congested. It's not like a big city. But I think if you went up the road a half hour or whatever, it's like I say, around Flagler Beach, that's a better place to live than Daytona Beach. So overall, like I say, and if I did have to pick where you want to live in Daytona Beach, I would pick Daytona Beach Shores, where we started from, the very southern tip of Daytona. In the middle is where the boardwalk is and where, you know, all the shops are, which we'll approach shortly. And towards the north end, you know, there's not much, and then you go up a strip of highway and you start to get into other towns. But their slogan is "Life is better here." That's on these blue signs, if you can see them on the street poles. We're still technically, though, in Daytona Shores. We haven't hit the central part of Daytona yet. And most of the people here you see outside, they're people working at these hotels. What is the economic driver of this area? Tourism. There are some jobs here, but it's still going to be mainly related to tourism. There's not like a huge technology industry. There's not a huge aerospace. Like, you know, an hour and a half south of here, Melbourne area and Cape Canaveral, that's the Space Coast. That's where, you know, aerospace jobs, defense contractors. Up here is tourism, you know, restaurants, service industry. You know, you're always going to have some hospitals, so you're always going to have a need for nurses, of course, doctors, and, you know, maintenance techs. There's always going to be jobs for a tradesman, a car mechanic, a nurse, house cleaning, and now house cleaners make good money. I mean, all these hotels, all these Airbnbs that I'm sure around here, you can make some good money, you know. But now we're starting to get into central part of Daytona Beach. Like I said, got a Winn-Dixie to the left. That's the supermarket. That's the lower end supermarket in Florida. So I always make a mental note. Publix is the medium grade. Fresh Market and Sprouts is the high grade. You can always judge a town by the supermarkets. If it has the nicer supermarkets, it's a nicer area. Because the nicer supermarkets, Sprouts, Whole Foods, they do research, extensive research on the financials of a surrounding area. And they will not build a Sprouts or a Whole Food in an area that is medium or lower income. So, you know, that's just something to give thought to. You know, same thing kind of like with Starbucks, even though Starbucks could be anywhere a little bit. But, you know, if there isn't a Starbucks in your area, but there's a Dunkin' Donuts, you may be in a bad area, you know. So these are things I've learned through traveling up and down the East Coast and looking for property. Everything is engineered all the way from the supermarkets to the housing cost and everything related to it. You know, it's like it all kind of coincides. And I just saw someone hiring a maintenance tech for a hotel. So there you go, right? If you were in a trade and you wouldn't even need a certification, if you had some trade skills, you'd probably be good. You probably wouldn't make great money, but you make money. And, you know, what's the prices of houses here? Well, in 2021, prices are still inflated everywhere. And I don't know this real estate market as good as I know South Florida. So I don't want to give too much information. But even now up here, you know, the prices are, you know, again, anytime you're by the beach, you're going to have somewhat inflated prices. But even if you can get a cheap place in Daytona Beach, I would not live here. That's just me, my opinion, direct talk. Give it to you straight. I would not live here. Now we're getting to the downtown area. Okay, if you made a left here at this light, you'd go downtown. You get into more shops, bars. Bars are a big thing here. Some restaurants. We're going to continue straight north, okay, through the heart of Daytona Beach. But if you can notice, like to the buildings to the left, you'll see, like, you know, they have mom and pop like shops, whether it's buying souvenirs or, you know, little rinky-dink hotels. But you're going to get some international tourists here too. But I think the international tourists, I think they come here once and never come back. I think in South Florida, in the nicer areas, they come once, they buy property, or they make it a recurring vacation destination. Economy Inn, very rundown hotel to the left. Like, in my opinion, you know, you come to Daytona Beach once, unless you have family here in some tradition, I don't think you come back. I would not, if I never been here, I would, you know, I may come here once. I did come here once because I wanted to see, but if I wasn't driving this way anyway, because I'm headed back up north to see my mother in New Jersey, I wouldn't even come through here. You know, so I'm kind of doing this for the video. You got Land Shark Bar and Grill. So you do have some nice bar and grills right on the ocean. That's nice. That's a positive. You do have some rides. There's a boardwalk. If you had kids, that's a positive. The Daytona Beach, what I'll say about that, it's not South Florida where it's like teal color blue and gorgeous, but it's one of the best beaches in Florida to walk because the sand is very matted down, it's very flat, and a very pleasant beach walk you could do. I walked this beach many times. And you see now, you see those two high risers, those two high like crane things. That's a slingshot, which is a ride. We're right now kind of in the heart where the boardwalk is. To the right would be the boardwalk. And that's just one ride. They'll sling you in the air. Of course, you have to pay a fee. And it's during, so they're not using it right now. But you see here to the right, you got a homeless guy walking with a styrofoam cup. Probably got a drug problem. And, this is, like I say, when you get to the heart of Daytona, in my experience, I've been here a few times over the course of the past couple of years, you're not going to be able to walk through without seeing at least a couple homeless people, a couple people with drug problem or mental problem. Because 90% of people who are homeless, in my experience, have a drug problem or mental problem. Okay, and I've lived on the road for 4 years. I've worked with the homeless before that, so I think I can somewhat analyze that properly. Now to the right is Hilton, okay, a higher end hotel. So you see, you still have investment, okay? You still have big money invested in this area. So they're not going to let it go down too much. And that's kind of the tug and war. Again, you look online, there's a huge Hilton to the right, and you say, wow, this is a great area to visit. And, depending on how you visit it, it may be. But outside of, it's like almost a similar little bit to Atlantic City, New Jersey, where if you just stay at the casino and you only go like out a little bit, you may be okay. But I would say Atlantic City, New Jersey is even worse than Daytona Beach, Florida. They're both similar where they're on the Atlantic Ocean and they have like big tourist attractions. But Atlantic City, New Jersey has a lot of poverty, a lot of crime. Daytona Beach has drug problem, has crime problem, but I wouldn't say as much as Atlantic City, New Jersey from my experience. And so, yeah, if you had to choose where to visit, I mean, Daytona Beach is probably more tourist friendly because you have nicer weather all year round. And, you can do other things other than the casino, Atlantic City, New Jersey is still pretty much a one trick pony with gambling, that's pretty much it. But now as we drive through, it's the Plaza Resort and Spa to the right. I don't know if that turned into like co-shared condominiums or not a few years ago. When the housing crisis was here in 2008, they were selling some of these condos on the beach for pennies on the dollar, but they had a lot of HOA fees associated with them. Anything on the beach, especially a high-rise condo, you're going to have huge homeowner association because that salt water is going to eat up a big building. Okay, even that building in 2021 that collapsed in Miami. But that was a known problem that they had structural issues. But the homeowners association, the members, the people who own the condos, they kept putting off making the payments to repair it. They didn't want an assessment. They didn't want to raise their fees. And, eventually it bit them. Now, again, what's the chances of a building collapsing on you? Very small. And God bless the people who passed away. But that's the thing. It's like, when you're living by the beach in a high rise and you're sharing cost in HOA, most people, look, no one wants to raise their HOA fee. But you're going to need to raise money to take care of the building and to make capital improvements. And you see now as we head towards North Daytona Beach, the buildings are a little bit more run down. We've passed through the heart of Daytona Beach. Now you have a little bit more desolate area, less vibrant, and that's it. We're towards now the end of the northern part. There's some cranes in the beyond to the right where they are putting a new building. Again, the economic times are still booming a little bit, depending on who you are, but still booming. There's still action, construction, investment, but I still do not feel the core of Daytona Beach has changed. What is the core of Daytona Beach? A has-been place. It was a place during the baby boomer generation heyday for bikers to come, a building up of a beach area that was a huge tourist area for spring breakers and visitors. Now it's living off its past reputation. It's become a little bit run down due to the fact that economic conditions in the country in general are up. It's keeping Daytona Beach up. But I feel that Daytona Beach is not on the upswing. Even with that said, I would not buy property here. I would recommend Flagler Beach or the Palm Coast area if you wanted to live in Northeast Florida. So You know, those are my recommendations. That's my information. This is a visual experience that you're getting with me. As always, if you want to move anywhere, I recommend you visit several times. Try to rent before you buy for a couple years, because, you know, once you're locked in, of course you can sell a property, but you don't want to go through all the aggravation of, you know, buying, selling. Just and if you get caught in an economic downturn, then you're stuck, you know, and you don't want to be that in life, because life's hard enough. Don't make it harder. When in doubt, don't buy. When in doubt, keep it simple. I know that's not easy to do, but I hope that these videos help you. If they do, click the thumbs up. Click the blue join button. You want to support the channel, gas money and everything else. Share the video. Check out my playlist, which has thousands of free videos, all free. And thank you to all my members. Thank you to everyone who watches. We're going to make several more videos here, as if my plan goes accordingly. We're headed back up the East Coast to visit my mother, which I am looking very forward to visiting my mother. But I am not looking very forward to heading up north. Even being this far in North Florida is depressing to me. It's uninspiring to me. It's almost resentful. You know, for me, Southeast Florida is where you want to be. I've been all over. It's based on my opinion, my experience. Everyone needs to experience life for themselves and decide for themselves. But I want to share my experiences with you to at least plant a seed and help you. See, now we're entering Ormond Beach. And so now, which is the next town north of Daytona Beach. So now we'll end the video. I'll make some more videos. Definitely going to try to make one for Flagler Beach if I can. Thank you again for watching. See you next one.